All right, little updated division rankings, coach rankings, quarterback rankings in the NFC North. I would personally have Jared Goff still as the best quarterback in the NFC North. After watching the Green Bay game, I think I would like to put Jordan Love last. I don't think I can quite do that yet. That spot still probably just has to go to J.J. McCarthy because he's just hasn't really proven a whole lot in this league. Jordan Love, though, I think he's like solidified his spot as number 3 in the division. He gets spoon-fed this offense. He here comes the plane. Matt LaFleur, first read. When Jordan Love's first read is not there, that team completely falls apart. And when they have to ask him to go on these game-winning drives and come up clutch in the fourth quarter and play out of structure and play off script, that's when I think Jordan Love really starts to plummet and is not like, I mean, we've been talking for a while about quarterbacks today. We haven't even brought up Jordan Love as like a top 10 guy. Jordan Love would probably be lucky to be considered a top 12 quarterback, like really lucky at this point. I think the fourth quarter in yesterday's game or in Saturday's game was disastrous enough to be like, if you want to say he's not in the top 15, you probably have a pretty good case. It'd probably be a little reactionary, but like the execution in the fourth quarter was so bad from everyone's part on Green Bay. And when it wasn't there and they were taking away the first read and it wasn't this, hey, jet across and throw to the guy who's wide open, I just don't think he's that talented. It's like he's talented because he doesn't suck at one thing. You know what I mean? He's got a nice cannon of an arm. He can move around a little. It's not like there's anything he can't do. He's just not elite at anything.
Right.
And when he has to play out of structure and off script, that's when I think it really falls apart.
He's also definitely closer to 4 than he is to 2.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Caleb and Goff are pretty significantly ahead of everybody else.
Yes, I would agree. And if you want to make the case for Caleb, I think there is one to be made, but I would still go with Goff.
I think the case for Caleb has to be future. Like,
Right.
I'd rather have Caleb going forward. I'm betting
totally
on his
would,
upside.
yeah.
I think right now Goff is still the better quarterback.
Because there is the case for Goff, and this is something that I don't think we've talked a lot, is like, has Goff peaked? Is Goff now into his early 30s? Has he, was this past season his last, his best season going forward? You know, I think that's a valid argument that could be made.
That Caleb's best season's going forward? Yeah, 100%.
No, the flip side. That Goff's best season is in his past from this point on. Has Goff peaked?
I think it depends who they call
his early 30s.
I think it depends who their offensive coordinator is because he's been better each of the last 3 seasons. And if they don't hire, like in last season, second in yards, second in touchdowns, and that was with a bad offensive coordinator and then Dan Campbell taking over as the play caller.
Right.
If they bring in Mike McDaniel, I would assume Goff continues to put up career numbers.
I would assume too, but there's ifs with that.
True. And when it comes to the coaching, I unfortunately think Ben Johnson has just kind of claimed the top spot in the NFC North.
Yeah, Jesse,
you have a little bit more pushback on this.
Well, Jesse in the YouTube chat, I just want to say, also agrees too. He said it's Ben Johnson 100%. I just can't, I don't know. I can't get behind a guy. I'm big on the matchups of coaches, and, it's clear that Dan Campbell has the upper hand on Ben Johnson. I'm willing to throw out the Week 2 game. You know, it was so early in the year. The Lions had everybody healthy on offense, and it was before we had any question marks about John Morton and this and that when they beat him by 30 or whatever it was. That Week 18 game, Ben Johnson, no excuses for losing that game. And they did it in their way, right? They had the comeback Bears. Oh, we're at home. We're doing another comeback. Here it is. Bam. Nope. Didn't matter. Lions still won. So, to me, I just can't say Ben Johnson's a better coach than Dan Campbell off of 1 year.
So you'd have Campbell 1?
He's 2-0 against him. And Campbell's, a bad year for Dan Campbell. Still went 9-8.
Still went 9-8.
Still has a ton of really good players.
I think there is an element, though, of
about the play calling?
About the play calling and never losing a play caller when you have Ben Johnson. Whereas this is going to be an ongoing cycle for a long time with the Lions as long as Dan Campbell is still in charge.
Let me ask you this. Right now, if you had to choose Lions coach next year, you got your pick, Dan Campbell or Ben Johnson. Who are you picking to be the Lions coach?
Dan Campbell. But the Bears fans would say Ben Johnson, so that argument just gets thrown out the window.
They didn't have both of them. We did.
Oh, you're saying if they could redo it?
No, I'm just saying, if you had your choice right now. I mean, the Bears don't get that option because they didn't have Dan Campbell. The Lions have an attachment to both guys.
I mean, I guess I'd still say Dan Campbell because that's who they have, but like, I don't know. I think
if you think
that's
Ben
tough to
Johnson
think
is
about.
the better coach and you think the play caller, then why would you not take him? He was in the building. It's not like it's a fresh new face
But
coming
it's just
in.
it's an unrealistic ask of them to fire Dan Campbell and promote Ben Johnson
totally
when the
agree.
winning's going on. Like that's it just was never going to happen. So it's hard for me to actually like pick. Okay, if that
Right,
was
but
an
it's-
option, would you? I guess maybe.
It's
Yeah, I guess now that
hypothetical.
we're talking about it, yeah, I probably would rather just have the play caller who also brings culture and stuff to the building. I mean, look what they're doing. They're in the divisional round. They're 1 win away from being exactly where the Lions were in 23.
And the Lions were there and followed it up with a 15-2 season.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, I think going forward now, if Ben Johnson can match this next season, and then I think I have my foot in my mouth. You know, I just am not expecting that to happen. I think this has been a whoa year for the Bears, and like, what is going on? This is probably not sustainable season.
The Vikings are, I think, the interesting one because
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell versus Dan Campbell becomes a pretty good debate.
It is.
Dan Campbell in the biggest games has punched him in the mouth 2 times. Dan Campbell lost the last 2 matchups in less meaningful games. Kevin O'Connell, does he have 1 playoff win? He has to have a playoff win, right?
I don't think so, right? They lost to the Bears, and then I'll look it up, but they lost, or not the Bears, they lost to the Giants in the first round with Daniel Jones that season, and then obviously they lost last year to the Rams in round 1.
He wasn't there in 2019, was he?
No, that was still Zimmer. Yeah, so he's 0-2.
He's never won a playoff game. Yeah, then for that reason alone, I think we just have to put Dan Campbell ahead of him.
That's fair. And obviously he has like the elite defensive coordinator as well, which like I don't want to take that away from O'Connell, but a lot of this stuff comes down to like the reason why the Vikings beat the Lions this season was Brian Flores in both games. You know, like Brian Flores dominated the Lions in both of those games this year. That feels like the bigger matchup there, you know? So it's not taking away from O'Connell, but it kind of is.
And either way, Matt LaFleur just kind of has to be last after this weekend, right? I mean, that is so bad what happened in the fourth quarter that's going to take a long time to recover from. Like, in order for him to not be ranked 4th in the division, and I know they're going to give him an extension here soon, in order for him to not be ranked 4th in the division, it's going to take some, like that's one that's going to be a wound that doesn't necessarily heal fully if you're a Packers fan. They're never going to get over this game. That's going to be looked back on as a game for a long time that, hey, I can't believe we didn't win this.
Yeah.
I mean, we can take a listen to the audio again from what LaFleur had to say after the game. This is crazy.
It's very humbling, and I'm certainly disappointed right now. I'm disappointed for everybody that's associated with the Green Bay Packers. I'm disappointed for our locker room. I'm disappointed for our fans. I'm disappointed for our leadership, just all our employees, everybody involved with the Green Bay Packers right now.
Yeah. We're going to be playing that a lot this offseason.
But also, a lot of teams would like to have Matt LaFleur as their head coach. That's the weird part with this. Like, he is a successful head coach, and you talked about it. He is a great offensive mind. He's built the offense for Jordan Love that has been somewhat successful, and it gets them to the playoffs. Like, this guy goes to the playoffs. So that's just a weird part with LaFleur. Like, I think a ton of teams like that have no success would absolutely love to have him, but the Lions fans and Vikings fans and Bears fans would also love to have him still coaching Green Bay.
I don't think there's a lot of Green Bay fans that are sticking up for him right now, though.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of the Green Bay fans. Who's Green Bay more frustrated with right now, Matt LaFleur or Jordan Love? It's probably still Matt LaFleur, right?
It's LaFleur.
But maybe Jordan
Love is close, though. You're right.
It's not. It's less frustration with Jordan Love and more like,
realization, maybe.
Yeah, that's the better word with Jordan Love right now. The realization that we actually might have the most overpaid quarterback in the entire NFL.
Right.
This guy's making a ridiculous amount of coin, more coin than anybody in the division, and he's the 3rd best quarterback here. That's the realization that the Packers fans had to have realized.
How many times has Matt LaFleur missed the playoffs with the Packers?
0.
Once. Time, and it was the game when the Lions kept him out of it in 2022.
Yeah.
They went 8-9. He's made it 6 of 7 years.
He's also had Aaron Rodgers in his prime,
sure.
Micah Parsons. Like, he's had talent. This is more of a Brian Gutekunst's thing, right? It's like a Howie Roseman thing. Just constantly plugging in good players to this defense and this team and this offense.
And it was an odd report this morning that like before the LaFleur stuff came out, where it was like LaFleur is to meet with the Packers president about his future, and it was like you hear that and you're just like,
whoa,
oh, like are they actually going to let him go? And it was like, no, they're actually meeting about his future, staying with the Packers. But
what if they just signed him like a
surprising.
1-year contract? It's like, yeah, we'll see what happens this season. That doesn't happen all that much in the NFL,
Right.
but I'd be hesitant to give this guy like a 5-year extension right now when you know, like, okay, if next year ends up being a failure, like we're going to owe this guy
like
a ton
2
of
or
money.
3 days to think about it, like how the Ravens
Right.
did. You know, like it feels like something that maybe you don't want to do right away. I guess it has been 2 days since they played Saturday, but I'd let this thing play out a little bit more.
I wouldn't be like with all the money. This was a problem last offseason with all the coaches. This was mostly a Raiders and Panthers problem that there were so many coaches that were not employed that were being paid. It was like near $1 billion when it came to all of it collectively.
$1 billion.
No, I think I might be exaggerating a little. Maybe it was $100 million.
Right.
I'd be hesitant to give Matt LaFleur a giant deal right now. I'd be
because how shocked would we be a year from now if we're having the conversation of like, oh, who's going to be the Packers' next coach because they fired Matt LaFleur?
Yeah, he's sure number one candidate to be fired next by the NFC North
a lot
coaches.
of pressure next year for them.
Even with the new contract that he's going to get.
Yes.
I still think like even if the Lions missing the playoffs next season, I think I still don't even know if they're.
It depends on how.
Yeah, it depends on how, but there's no guarantee that it's all Dan Campbell's fault again. Like, I just think that the Lions are pretty content with who they have in their head coach for a while.
I think the people in the front office clearly do.
Yes.
I mean, Sheila Hamp obviously loves those guys, which I think is fair. And a lot of Lions fans are just going to focus on what happened in the back half of the season. That's fine. But you got to look at it as a grand scheme things as well. Would you rather have Campbell or what's going on with Matt LaFleur in Green Bay? Like
Campbell.
Right.
For everyone who gets mad at Dan Campbell, look over at Green Bay. At least you don't have that loser. I knew as soon as this guy went for the tie against Dallas in like week 3 or 4, I was never going to be able to look past that. And sure enough, he's played it out as if he is a total loser.